having a bit of technical difficulties here on this end. We have Simon and Julian, and I'm Lori McGilvery, and this is 30-Minute Mastermind. If I happen to drop out, Julian and Simon will keep going with you today. We're having a little bit of internet issue here today. Today, we're going to be talking about embracing who you are and taking back control from your devices and finding calm amongst chaos through a simple declutter process. Simon and Julian are going to be doing most of the talking today, which is a good thing. We had already planned that because I may or may not be here through the whole show. Simon, you've been talking a lot. Previously, we talked about introvert, extrovert, and ambivert. And you shared with us some really, really fascinating information that you've been studying for yourself, for your life. And Julian, you also shared some really fascinating information that you've studied as well. I'm going to leave it to the two of you. And these two topics, they may not sound like they have anything to do with each other, but they completely overlap. And that's where we're going to start today. Each of these topics are about, and Julian and Simon take us through how these two overlap. Simon, are you ready?
Yes, but do you want to carry on from last week first, Julian, and then I'll move into talking about digital disconnection.
Okay, yeah, so, well, you said 2 weeks ago, actually, that 2 weeks ago you were with us, that you sort of became an ambivert. Well, we have to maybe also clarify a little bit what is ambivert, because I found out for myself that word ambivert and actually calmed me and down, because it's embracing both being introvert and extrovert. And I didn't know that term in the beginning, that it actually existed. So I was quite relieved that it does exist, and that there's a name for it, and that you can actually feel good with the best of both worlds, right? So Simon, you told me that you had a similar feeling about it, because you were telling 2 weeks ago that you felt more introvert, but also had some aspects of being an extrovert. So can you tell us a little bit how you sort of like embraced or became more an ambivert?
Yeah, before I'd always thought through, I guess, television and also through different situations at school and university, that being an extrovert was the ideal, and that's what we should all aspire to being. And being an introvert meant you weren't going to be successful in life, and it equaled being shy. But I've found that that's not really the case, because there's lots of very successful introverts leading companies, and even in positions of power in government and other areas, and people that just, you don't have to be some leading a company or a government. You can just be successful in your own field. Maybe you work in science, or you're a journalist, or anything really, and you don't have to try and change yourself into being an extrovert. But generally speaking, most people are neither 100% extrovert or 100% introvert. They fall in between that spectrum, and I realized that I was probably somewhere in the middle, because I enjoy my own time, but I also like being around people and talking and communicating with people. I don't like to spend too much time on my own. So I found through a book I was reading that I mentioned 2 weeks ago that I'm probably an ambivert. So I'm a bit of both, introvert and extrovert, and I'm been happy to embrace that about aspect of myself, rather than trying to change myself into
I,
something else.
that book by Susan Cain, right? How to
Exactly.
become an introvert.
Well, it's about it's quiet. It's called Quiet: The Power of
Quiet,
Introverts in a World That Can't Stop Talking, because
exactly.
we're always presented with this ideal of extrovert, and we should always be talking. We should always be in big groups, but it's absolutely fine to be by yourself sometimes, or be by yourself at least probably once a day and or more often, and be with your own thoughts, especially if you're more of an introvert, because introverts need that time to recharge, away
Exactly.
from other people.
And that's actually like what you were saying, is time, spending time with some people might be even afraid of being alone. But alone at the same
Mm,
time does not mean to be lonely. And actually,
no.
it is really embracing your own company. And actually, it is since we are all creative beings, human beings are creative beings. That's the time we spend with ourselves, that we can actually tap into this creative mode, where we can tap into our so-called higher faculties. Because if it's all noisy and also most of the time not with music or anything else, most of the time through digital noise, that we don't really grasp what's going on within us. And creation is something that stems from within. It's not something that comes from the external world. Everything starts from within. and
Hmm.
um,
Hmm.
and yes, of course, being ambivert then is embracing both the time you spend with yourself, and then things like we are doing right now, being more, sharing more our extrovert side, but then maybe more in a useful sense, and yeah, and sharing and collaborating. Um, that's I think being ambivert is a great thing, is a great option. And I think a lot of people will find themselves in that term, like you said, that most people are ambivert.
Yes, most people, very few people are the very extremes, and it's like you said, it's about tapping into yourself and looking inwards rather than always seeking external validation and um, listening to other people. You can also listen to your own intuition, but that's especially true probably when you're more, whether you're ambivert or more introverted, because yeah, extroverts thrive off of social situations, and they need to be around, and they get their energy from being around lots of people, and there's absolutely nothing wrong with that either, because possibly the world might be a bit more boring if there was no extroverts. You need extroverts because they're often the life of the party. And if
Absolutely.
you, yeah, so but just connecting to what you were saying earlier about too much noise in the world today, this has become a bigger and bigger problem now. And I've just been reading a book which I bought the other day called Digital Minimalism
Hmm.
by Cal Newport, which I really, really recommend. And it's especially if you're starting to question being on, or you're feeling feelings of negativity from being on the internet all the time and connected to too many devices, and you feel like you're just on scrolling through Facebook or Twitter or Instagram too much, and you're wasting time. Then, if you read this book, then he'll go into reasons why that's definitely not a good thing to be doing that, and it's good to take time away from these devices and social media to rediscover your own passions and be able to listen to your own inner voice. And I'll just
Right.
read you out a short sentence from the book.
Great.
Solitude deprivation a state in which you spend close to zero time alone with your own thoughts and free from input from other minds. And I think that's becoming a massive problem today, especially again amongst younger people, teenagers or children they've grown up pretty much their whole lives with screens and the internet and social media, and they're never really alone with their own thoughts, and that's very bad for their own creativity and their own sense of well-being and happiness, because you need your own thoughts to be able to form, or you need solitude, to be able to form your own coherent thoughts about life and tap into your own creativity.
Exactly, absolutely, and it's there's nothing wrong with silence. Actually, actually, there's something called the Zen mind, and reaching that state of a Zen mind where you don't really have any um, past thoughts or future thoughts, just the present moment is challenging, and it's going to be more of a challenge, maybe also in the future. But there are tools that you can embrace, like reading such books as you were suggesting right now, or you can make your own routine how you reach those moments of Zen, and
Mm-hmm.
it's not always through meditation or yoga. I think everyone, since everyone is individual and very different, is inspired and um, activated by different things. Some people even get this Zen mind listening to loud, noisy music. So
Yeah,
it's very individual.
absolutely.
But it all has to do with reconnecting with your own self, and whether that is singing, dancing, painting, or just being mute, whatever it is for you. It's embracing that and doing it more.
Simon and I were talking about mini holidays. We do quite a lot,
Hmm.
very short mini break, and every we take one day and we completely just and we go off on island or somewhere, and
Mm.
just those little bits of things that you can do to just recharge and connect with just regrounding yourself again. Go off to somewhere you've never been or haven't been for a long time, and make it an adventure. Like, it's a big journey.
Hmm. Yeah.
Absolutely, and I think one of the things, well, what the book is, something I've got through in the book at the moment is taking a 30-day digital detox. So disconnecting as much as possible from social media, your smartphone, email, YouTube, Netflix, and then after the 30 days, you come back to these things, and you think about which ones are actually best for your life, rather than just looking at them unconsciously and wasting time. You think, maybe I'll check. If you're going to use social media, maybe you only use it on your computer, so you don't have these apps on your phone. And if you're going to go out for a walk, leave your phone at home. Or if you're going to meet some friends, leave your phone at home. You don't need to be looking at Facebook while you're face to face with your friend, talking talking with them over dinner or lunch. So
Hmm.
it's about thinking more consciously about how we use technology, and rather than letting technology kind of use us, which is what, like, a lot of these social media apps and Netflix and not Netflix, sorry, but YouTube and online games, they make money from our attention. They need us to be looking at them as much as possible to make money from us. So we need to keep in mind that there's very, very intelligent people using our attention to make money, and we're not always aware of that. And when we become aware of that, we can hopefully disconnect more often. And
Absolutely.
yeah,
And also we all have the 24 hours. There's no person in the world who has 48 hours. We all get the 24 hours, and it's the priorities we give to the things we give attention to. So maybe this 30-day digital detox is also a great way to make time for maybe family, or
mm,
reconnect with friends in real conversation. And I'm not saying that texting or chatting online is not real, because it has become so real that we cannot even distinguish that anymore. But we need this human interaction, and and I think it's very valuable, and it's all about giving value and receiving. But if we are not genuinely able to give, then we are not going to be able to receive either. So
absolutely. And I
so
think
good.
when we recharge ourselves, when we take time away from phones and social media and screens, we can go back into to nature, and we can exercise and all these other things. And like you said, we recharge ourselves. And when we're in that state of well-being, and we feel positive about ourselves, then we can give back to other people rather than always needing to take energy from other people, or take energy from exterior sources. We can radiate. I know it sounds a bit of a cliche, but radiate energy outwards rather than
Exactly.
being a taker, be a giver.
Yeah.
It's all inside of each of us. We each have this capacity. It's pulling it out. It's connecting to it. It's getting back in touch with it, as this was I was referring to. Live a more meaningful life with less technology. What do you fill your time with once you disconnect? You need to plan. I'm sure
Mm,
this book, the book has all digital decluttered process in it. You just need to be thinking about what are you filling your time with as you're disconnecting from particular things. Julianne, you recently did a mini disconnect holiday as well. You went up to the
Yeah.
mountains. What did you do then? You went in again.
Well, it was
You went inside.
it was 2 days me by myself in a cottage.
mm,
And yes, I mean, I had internet there, but I did not use it the same way I would use at home. So I spent a lot of time out in nature, and it was really recharging, and spending very much time with myself. And I was able to give afterwards. I refilled my cups, my body, mind, and soul cup, doing things accordingly to fill them, and then I was a better server in the end. And I'm going again in the next couple of weeks. I will go up there again. This
awesome.
time I will take my mom. So let's see how that goes.
Oh,
And
that'll be excellent. That'll be fantastic. The two of you just going off,
Yeah,
connecting and going off and hiking
yeah,
and and
exactly.
just
The nature,
reconnecting, recharging
just with
together.
nature, and also here, since we're living close to the sea. You were saying early on about mini excursions and walks. I like do the grounding, which is like really putting your feet in the sand, bare feet in the sand, and you can really feel, just not take more than half an hour, but it already sucks out all the. It feels like it's sucking out all the negativity. So
Yeah, yeah.
you feel reboosted.
Most every morning we go for about 70, 80 minutes. We go walking along the sea. And yeah, and then that we do every morning, early in the morning. And then once a week, we don't have a plan until that morning. We picnic and we have one phone with us. And you know, if you have your own business or if you work for a company, or you can take one day, you you can take one day and just shut everything off. Julianne, is there anything at all that is so urgent that I must get back to you like in seconds or in 10 minutes? Or, you know, Simon, is there anything that that if you send a message about something that if I don't respond to you in 30 minutes, then the world is going to fall apart? There just isn't. Not, I mean, this is something up in our own head that, you know, life is so urgent. We must do this within 10 seconds of getting a ping on our phone. This is the habit, the repetition that we create in our own thinking. And so most of the time, my ringer is turned off on the phone. If there is something so urgent that someone must get a hold of me, they will ring me, or they will, you know, they'll find a way to get a hold of me. If there, I can't remember a time that there has been something so urgent that the world has fallen apart because I haven't got back to someone in 30 minutes, or I can't think of a time.
Absolutely.
And so I have a red phone on my desk that, you know, is a bat phone that they must reach me all the time.
But you know, the good thing is that since you become aware that it's self-created, we are also the ones in charge who can who can create back a healthier habit. So, but we are in charge. It's us. It's us.
That's exactly what that book is about that Simon has. And I don't have that one, but I will have it after today. And it's take back control from your devices and find calm among chaos. Digital declutter process. Simple. Choose a focused life in a noisy world. That's what this whole thing is that Simon's been studying with us. And it's about taking control of your life again. You know, when we had phones on the wall, used to have a dial phone. I'm that old. It used to be connected to the wall, and you could only walk so far. And you know, Dad took a really long extension so I can go around in the hall and have a conversation. You know, with a stringy cord on it. My little brother would come along and spring the thing, and it would slap it. We lived that, you know. It was okay. The world was fine. It really was. I survived, you know. It can be done.
And it's
we just lived in such an instant, immediate, just right now, world that it's hard. And when it becomes a habit, that's where you've got to say, it's an okay habit anymore. Is this serving me? Is this really serving me and my health and my well-being?
And it's a bit like,
I'm so pleased that you brought this entire thing up, and how the two do intersect, Simon. The embracing who you are piece of it, and they really do intersect.
Yeah.
And there's a good kind of analogy, I would say, between this and the pollution that's ravaging the planet. For example, let's say all the plastic pollution, because, for example, these plastic straws, we became used to using these for, I don't know, the last 20 years, let's say, and then we kind of think, well, it's always been like that, but it hasn't. And there was a time before plastic straws, and now they've just banned them in the UK, so you can't, in restaurants and cafes, you can't give out plastic straws, and we're gonna survive without plastic straws, and we can survive without being connected to social media and our phones 24/7.
They've been
It's
changing
not
here.
necessary.
Sorry. They've been changing over here for quite a while in Fuerteventura, probably in
Tenerife as
Tenerife
well.
as well, to the paper, and to like a spaghetti, a pasta noodle, just a piece of pasta noodle, which completely dissolves and disintegrates. They've been switching for quite a while here. They haven't banned it. In fact, in the mornings when we do our walk, we have a little plastic bag with us, and we're picking up the plastic things along the shore that have washed in overnight. And the straws are the biggest thing that we find on the bits that have washed up from the tide. I was really pleased to hear that when I saw that they had banned that.
Finally.
It's been done. Well done.
And in a state in America, I think it's Maine, they've just banned styrofoam packaging from fast food, I think. So it's happening in America as well.
Fantastic. Well done, Maine. Well done, America. Keep going. Keep going. One step at a time, one change and one step at a time. Keep going.
I think it's patience, we gotta, things are moving in the right direction.
They
but
are.
it doesn't create overnight, and it
No,
takes time,
no.
and we have to be more patient with others, but first of all also with our own selves, because even the smallest changes that we want to make for our own well-being or
Yes.
improvement is gonna be met with friction and with a lot of frustration, because we are not yet there, but it's all part of the transformation, and it is growing, and
Patience.
it's not,
Patience,
it's not
persistence,
called
perseverance. Just like
it's
making
not
this one happen today, right? Patience,
exactly.
perseverance, persistence. Did it.
Yeah.
It happened. You can do it.
And
We're
you're
coming
still
up
here,
to the last
Lori.
minute. 30-minute mastermind just goes Zoom. We're coming up to the last few minutes. So, Simon, can you again let us know what that book is? Because this is probably one of the most important books. Everything we talk about is hugely important. This, though, I think, is something people really need to start getting their head around. Digital minimalism. Minimalism.
Choosing a focused life in a noisy world by Cal Newport.
Professor Cal Newport.
We will put it in the description box.
We'll put it down below on the replay. Absolutely. And the other one is Embracing Who You Are. What was the name of the book again?
That was called Quiet by Susan Cain.
We put it in before,
the Power of Introverts in it. Yeah.
We put it in a couple of weeks ago, but we'll put that in the feed below, the comments below this one as well, because it's a really important book.
But just going back to, it's kind of just one last point about it is that as Cal Newport says in the book, you don't need to completely shut yourself away from technology. And as you can see through these kind of masterminds, technology can be used for very powerful ways to inspire and, or hopefully inspire and motivate people and share knowledge and connect with people. But it's about using it consciously.
Absolutely.
But yeah,
Healthy
yeah.
choices,
So
healthier choices.
definitely,
Yes.
yeah.
Yes. 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 Making healthier choices from the whole. And this is just one piece of that from the whole. Absolutely. As a being, we have so many multifacets. And as these new life improvement things come into our lives, we need to learn how to manage them better for ourselves and what that means for us. And although, I mean, look what this has allowed us to do, like you said, to do some very, very creative, very, very helpful, useful chats about things that we're sharing with others that are thinking some of the we're thinking and share different perspectives of it. So it's what you do with it, all of it. It's everything, every piece of who we are as being. It's what you do and how you manage a piece of it.
Absolutely.
So
anything else, Jan? Anything else to add? Say goodbye.
Let us know how you create, how you find digital minimalism for yourself. Are you embracing it? Are you an introvert, an extrovert, or an ambivert? Please let us know.
Yeah. Thanks everybody watching.
Yes, Tim wrote, just
hi,
popping
Tim.
in to say hi. Can't stay, but we'll look in later. Have fun, guys. Hello, Tim.
Glad
Thank
you
you.
again.
And
Thanks, Tim.
we will have you on the show, yeah, in a couple of weeks, I think. Tim is on.
Well,
Cool.
this is 30-minute Mastermind with Simon Turkus, Juliana Handel, and I'm Lori McGilvoy. Until next week, wishing you an amazing week ahead. Mwah.
Bye.
Take care, everybody. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.